Hi, I'm Miss Marcie, and you are listening to Conversations with Miss Marcie podcast. If you are looking for watered down conversations, this might not be the podcast for you. I'm just saying. Hey everybody, and I'm back. Well, we're back with another podcast, and thank you so much for tuning in to Conversations with Miss Marcie. Excuse me, I'm a little tipsy here, but I'm here with a guest, my good girlfriend to the show, friend to the show, Miss Aishah.
Hi.
So we are back or whatever. And first, let me say thank you to my listeners, and thank you so much for your support, your feedback. Thank you so much. If you have any questions or anything you want to send to me, send it to conversations with Miss Marcie at G. Yeah, conversation, because I got two emails. I'll be getting a little tongue tied. Like, hold on, am I giving out the right email? So yeah, send it to conversations with Miss Marcie at gmail.com. And don't forget to check out my website, www.missmarcie.com. All right, y'all, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. All right, so today's topic, we want to talk about basically me and, my friend to the show, Aishah. We are both over 30, and we both are women who don't have children. And so that's what we want to talk about today. And the reason why we want to talk about this is because society tells us, and always has told us, that by a certain age as women, we're supposed to have had children. And, and that's just that. That's that on that. But for me, like I said, I'm 40. I don't have any children. And sometimes I don't know if I even want any children. And that's okay, because not every woman wants to be a mother. So basically for me, sometimes like I do feel like, I want to be, I do want at least one child. But then sometimes I say, you know what? Nah, I think I'm cool. I think for me, I'm 50-50, literally. How do you feel about that?
I feel like I'm past the age of one. I feel like I'm in my 40s as well.
We don't know exactly.
But we that's bad. However, I just feel like I'm like past that age at this point. Like, I feel like I'm very settled in my life. I have other goals that I'm working on. Most of the people I know that are my age have grown children. So I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm like competing to like have children at the same time as like my friends and stuff like that. So, for me, having children, number one, for me was never a priority. So that's probably why I don't have any children. Like, it was just never something that I really wanted in my 20s, where like some women go through their whole life, even as a child, saying, I know I want to be a mother. I know I want to have kids. And I'm one of the women, the small percentage of women that never felt that way.
Yep. And that's why, like I said, we are both grown and sexy women over our 30s, and
Let's
we don't have children.
Sexy.
Okay. And but I'm just like you. Like, I was like that too, and I was just gonna say too. In my 20s, I knew for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, I did not want children. I didn't give a fuck. Hell no, I knew I didn't. I'm like, when I was in my 20s, and I'm a Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, we love freedom, and. I was always the type I liked coming and going when I pleased. I liked being able to just do what I wanted to do without the responsibility of having to take care of another person. So I love that. So in my 20s, I knew, I was like, oh no, I'm not. I knew I wasn't having no children. Now, when I got into my 30s, I kind of started to entertain the idea a little more. But again, like you said, I was never the type that felt like I want to be a mom. I want to be a mom. Like, I never really had that desire that strong. I never did. And if I do have, it's like for me, the thought comes and it goes. At one point I'll be like, oh, I want a little boy. The next thing I'll be like, oh, I want a little girl. That'd be so sweet. But then I have moments and days where I'll be like, I don't want none. You know what I'm saying? For real. So I don't know if it's something that down the line, do you think it's something that we'll regret? Like, I don't know.
I don't think so. At this point, I thought about it, a lot, and I'm like, like, is this something? Because I'm like, you know, if you're gonna do it, like you're gonna do it like soon, you know, and make it happen. Otherwise, you just might as well leave it alone. But I think I thought about it enough, and I'm like, I don't feel like I'm gonna be missing out on anything at all. I mean, I've had nieces and nephews around me. I've had, I mean, maybe it's not the same. I don't know, but I've had that experience of having children around me. So it's not like I've had a life of just like no children.
Right, me too.
Many children around me. I've had boyfriends with kids that I've helped raise. You know, all of that kind of thing. So I don't feel like I've missed out. Maybe I haven't been directly a mother, but I've had some impact, you know, in that way long term. Not even just like a couple months, like years of children and people, you know, be in my life like that. So I don't really feel like I've been like missing out or anything. And at this point, like when I look at my goals for the future, like I more or less see like financial goals and you know, goals and freedom, you know, of enjoying life. So I don't really feel like I've missed out. I mean, my only thing is like when I get old, I'm like, okay, who's gonna take care of me?
Oh yeah.
Who's gonna take care of me when I get old? Like I got my, like right now I'm taking care of my parents. So, you know, they got me, but I'm like, when I get old, who's gonna be there for me? But and even if you have, I'm trying to get their asses together right now. I'm trying to get them together. Like Auntie needs help. Auntie gonna need some help. But you know, I just I don't know how that's gonna play out, but you know, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
We'll have to see on that. But for the most part, I feel comfortable just like enjoying my life. I'm hoping that I'll meet you know, somebody that, you know, wants to enjoy life as much as I do and has already passed the children phase. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's not, for me, it's not a big deal. And I have a friend that she's like, she says she gets so irritated by people always questioning her, like, so do you waiting on? Do you have children? She's just like, no, I don't have no kids. Like, why does that have to be like such a big ass thing? Yeah. She's like, she gets so irritated when people are, like, she doesn't have children either. So when people are always asking her, like, so do you have children? Like, it's something that she hasn't,
like she's missing out on, or something.
Life, but at the same
or you
time,
are nobody as a woman if you don't have any children, or you haven't accomplished something. Yeah.
Right. And she's like, but at the same time, you talk about how fucking miserable you are with your fucking kids, that you can't leave out the house to do anything because of your children. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. And my thing is too, like, and speaking of that, I was gonna say too, I think that as far as, like I said, society tries to make you feel like, you know, you as a woman, you should want kids, you should desire kids, and if you don't have none by a certain age, you know, what the fuck are you waiting on? Now I say, for me, my experience has been, when the people who have asked me stuff like, what you waiting on, you know, why you ain't got no kids or whatever, it's always black women. It's never white women. It's never any other culture. It's always black women, and single parent black women at that. Okay. That's the crazy part.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. I've never, and when it comes to like other cultures or other races or whatever, it's like when they see that my finger is not furnished with a ring, they never think to ask, why don't you have children? It's like an automatic thing within other cultures, but unfortunately in our culture, it's okay to just go ahead and be, it's the thing. Well, what you waiting on, girl? Go and get you a baby daddy. You know, and I'm not knocking nobody who don't, you know, who not married or whatever, they have children. I'm not knocking nobody. But I'm just saying, like, that's how we are. That's how our culture, mentally is set up. You know, so I do feel like they do put pressure on women, because I feel like sometimes some women just don't want children. That is okay. That is okay. My brother, he doesn't have any children. He doesn't want any. You know what I'm saying? And he's 39. Okay. And he said he's cool with not having any. Some people just don't want kids. I know for me,
I never wanted children since I was 5 years old. I would tell my mom, I don't want kids. Like literally 5 years old. And everybody would, as I was growing up, would always tell me like, you're gonna change your mind. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like,
wow, you knew from then.
I knew from a childhood that I did not want kids. I just didn't want kids. It was just not not a desire for me.
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted children. I mean, like you said, when I was like in my early 30s, it was a small window, couple years that I was like, okay, if I have children, it'll be fine. If I just go ahead and have a baby, like it'll be fine. But that time frame passed, and it is what it is. May I talk my subconscious into not having children.
Right.
But I mean, just time just went on, and I didn't have kids, and it was just letting it's like.
Now
I don't feel like I missed out on anything.
Yeah, I was watching something. I can't remember what it was, but it was something where they were talking about Chili from TLC, and it might have been an interview or something that they were doing or something, and they were saying how Chili always said she wanted to be a mom. She wanted to be a mom. She had this desire, and I remember looking at that like, wow, I was never like that.
Me either, girl. Me either.
Like
wow. I promise you, I never in my teens, my 20s, I did not want children. I would tell every man that I met, I don't want kids. Yeah. Like, I don't want children. Everybody be like, why don't you want no kids? Like, I was like, not everybody wants children. I was like, I don't want kids. But then, like I said, as I started getting older, in my 30s, I was like, okay, well,
and sometimes
might as well just push a kid out.
Right. But sometimes I wonder if sometimes we as women, do we think we want children because we think we're supposed to have them? We're supposed to want them?
I think I started feeling in my 30s like my own mortality. Not that I was going to die in my 30s, but I just started feeling like, I'm getting older. Like, if I want to have children, I should probably go ahead and just have a baby. If there's any small part of me that wants to have children, I was like, I should just have a baby. So I think like around 31, it's my early 30s or whatever, I was just like, I should just go ahead and do it. But the man wasn't there.
Yeah.
In order for me to conceive, there wasn't a partner. So that just didn't happen. Time went on and it just didn't happen.
What do you think about the not surrogacy, but the sperm donor option? I actually know a girl.
I looked into it at one point.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I know a girl who actually did it.
Oh.
And I don't know. Some people might say that that's selfish, and some people may say that it's not. Mm-hmm. I don't really know.
I don't think it's selfish at all.
Well, they say it's selfish because you're willing to have a child without the help of
how many
person.
Isn't it almost 50% of women is out here
doing that anyway,
raising children by themselves?
Right.
I thought about it, and I actually had looked up a clinic. I think it was in New York, that for sperm donors. I was actually researching it. At one point.
Yeah, because they can actually do it to where you can look online, pick out a profile.
Yeah.
And have them send that person's sperm to your doctor's office, and they'll.
Or you can have two options, because I was looking into it. You can either insert it yourself; they'll send it to you, and you can insert it yourself, or you can have your doctor's office do it.
Wow.
Which I was looking at the cheaper version. I'll just insert that shit myself.
So what made you not go through with it? You just.
It was a cost to it. And like I said, I was still busy living my life, doing a lot of different things, and it just ended up being like, just didn't fall into my lifestyle. I've always been a busy person, traveling and doing a lot of different things. So it just didn't fall into my lifestyle, and time just kept going past, and it just left it alone.
Wow. Yeah, I never thought about the sperm donor option. I think I might have thought about the freezing eggs, or even the surrogacy.
And my mom went through early menopause, so that's another reason why I started thinking. I know my mom went to menopause at 41.
Really?
So, so that was another thing that made me feel like I should, that made me put more emphasis on trying to have a kid at a certain age. But I don't know. I feel okay now that I without children. I feel like I'm good. I'm comfortable, and I really don't see how that could fit into my life right now.
And see, that's what matters is how you feel. You know what I'm saying? I just think that I think that it's wrong for anyone to try to make someone feel like, you're less than a woman if you don't experience having children. Because here's the thing. Hey, thanks so much for listening. That's it for now. To finish listening to the rest of this podcast, go on over to Anchor, Spotify, iHeart, Apple, and any other podcast platform.